Here's a question for you. Which of these places is the statue represented by this emoji from? That's right, Tokyo, in Japan. You see, this statue is not what you think it is. It isn't a moai. Moai, these statues made by the Rapa Nui people of Rapa Nui, or Easter Island for all you hopheads, were made between 1200 and 1500, 500 years before the one depicted in this emoji. But if this isn't a moai, then what is it? A moyai, a term which somehow has nothing to do with the word moai. Moyai come from Nijima, an island 160 kilometers from mainland Tokyo. And I say mainland because this little tropical paradise is actually part of Tokyo Prefecture and is administered by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. And here, in the local dialect, moyai means cooperating, joining forces, helping each other, collaborative work, all things that were illegal in 1950s America. And it's in the spirit of this meaning, in 1980, that Nijima gifted Tokyo a number of these moyai statues for the 100th anniversary of Nijima becoming part of Tokyo. However, while there are multiple moyai around Tokyo, the one that is most well known and is depicted by the emoji is the one at Shibuya Station. Now, Shibuya Station is far more popular for another statue, the Hachiko statue, a dog that waited for its owner long after his death and is the subject of multiple films and books. But if you look at the signage, right under Hachiko Square, you'll find the West Square, which is represented by a familiar face. And if you follow that sign, tucked away in a corner beside a smoking shelter, you'll find him. At first glance, he does kind of look like a moai, and that is intentional. It's supposed to be a moai-moyai pun. However, there are two key differences, besides the size and lack of torso. And those differences are his long flowing hair, and the fact that he's two-sided. The first side, the moai-looking one, is of a surfer, which you can tell by his aforementioned long flowing hair, and the second side is of an old-bearded exile, reflecting Nijima's past as an island for exiled criminals. Alongside his front half, there's a sign dedicating the statue to Shibuya and telling people about the meaning of moyai. It's a pretty cool statue with an interesting history. But how did it become an emoji? Well, on the 1st of January 2003, AO, or maybe it's AU, a Japanese mobile network, would release their newest set of emojis, Type D. And along with some very cool animated emojis, the moyai emoji would make its debut on the Japanese phones. At the time, emojis were not standardized, and each company had their own set. So any company could really make whatever emoji they pleased. And AU apparently thought that a moyai emoji was very, very necessary. Now, why they thought it was necessary is something we could only speculate on. My main theory is that it's supposed to be an emoji to represent all of Shibuya. My only real evidence for this is that it would show up upon typing Shibuya, and it also wouldn't be the only Shibuya emoji for Japanese phones. SoftBank had released an emoji of Shibuya 109, a shopping mall in Shibuya, in their 2000 set of emojis, just 3 years earlier. So if you're AU and you're looking for new emojis, why not look at what a competitor has to offer, and then make an emoji for Shibuya, just of a completely different landmark? I just somehow don't believe that the emoji is supposed to only be for the statue because AU Type D has no other landmarks except for Tokyo Tower, which is just way more significant. One other possibly important detail is that despite the emoji's name being moyai, the actual original emoji is of a moai, so it's possible it was made with a dual purpose in mind. Whatever the reason, AU phone owners had a very cool new emoji, but how did everyone else get it? Well, in 2008, Google implemented emojis into Gmail using the existing AU sets. However, of these 79 emojis, the moyai was not one of them, because no one has ever needed to email a moyai emoji, ever. But Google had been working on something way more impressive than the 79 emojis. A year earlier, Google had started petitioning for the standardization of emoji, and soon Apple would join them. So, in 2009, the Unicode Consortium, along with Apple, Google, Docomo, AU, and SoftBank, worked on creating a standardized set of 722 emojis, and for some reason, moyai made the cut. The Shibuya 109 emoji, however, did not, as it had a logo on it, even though it had actually already been on iPhones for a short while. Despite this tragic loss of the Shibuya 109 emoji, in October 2010, Unicode 6.0 finally released, and with it came the first 722 standardized emojis. Yet despite the fact that everyone now had the same set of emojis, the actual depiction of them varied. Google and Microsoft kept the original moyai theme, whereas companies such as Apple went with a more notable moai theme. And over the years, more and more companies have switched to the moai depiction to the point that there's no major emoji set which has a true moyai emoji. Though maybe that's for the best, as it truly honors the original moyai emoji, an emoji with a name that didn't match how it looked. Today, anyone, including me, you, your family, or mine, could use the best emoji to our heart's content. And even though not all may see it as such, now you know that's actually quite useful. As long as you're going to Shibuya and you want to meet someone by the specific statue and you don't want to use words.